I'd like to bring the meeting to order. We're going to have the presentation of the colors and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everyone please stand? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Face. Forward. Arc. Left. 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 Right. 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 Left. 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 Right. Right.
Madam President, if I could, I'd like to make a motion to add something to the agenda, please.
Okay. Merry Christmas. Okay.
That the board add to the agenda an informational item, annual presentation by the LSU Ag Center.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Lachele. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Hannah Mason, we have a second. Any comment from the public? And at this time, I wanted to remind the public that all public comment is related to the item at hand, and we're going to stick to the 3-minute rule, and no questions will be asked during public comment. So is there any public comment? Any board comment? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Next, we'll have our opening comments. Superintendent Troxclair.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to share that we have named the Principals of the Year for the elementary, middle, and high schools for the Lafayette Parish School System. Our elementary school Principal of the Year, Ms. Rhonda Dickerson, Principal of Ridge Elementary School. Our middle school Principal of the Year, Ms. Catherine Rayburn, Principal of Paulboro Middle School. And our high school Principal of the Year, Ms. Julia Williams, Principal of Northside High School. Congratulations to these outstanding school leaders. This week, the French ambassador in the U.S., His Excellency Philippe Etienne, visited Myrtle Place Elementary. The ambassador commented that he was pleased to see the school highlighting so many countries and the various cultures where French is the primary language. We want to thank the students of Myrtle Place Elementary for such a joyful welcome, pre-K teacher Rachel Perry for gifting the ambassador an original painting, and school administrators for allowing His Excellency and members of the Consulate to observe the wonderful immersion learning occurring in our schools to preserve our French language. The Lafayette Parish School System would like to congratulate Parish, a senior at Lafayette High School, for being recognized on November 8th as a state finalist for the U.S. Senate Scholarship Program. Parish is one of 6 candidates competing for 2 $10,000 college scholarships and an invitation to attend the annual Washington Week in Washington, D.C. District staff recently completed our quarterly Pathway to an A discussions with individual school leaders from throughout the district. This practice is new this year and is designed to support collaborative discussion around academic progress at each school. School leaders provide updates on progress and successes, as well as challenges they face. This allows us to identify areas and strategies for continued improvement as we work to improve social, emotional, and academic outcomes for the students we serve. Simulated school and district performance scores will be released by the Louisiana Department of Education on Friday, December 3rd. We will use the data received to inform our work moving forward. I would like to congratulate the following schools and outstanding student athletes for their athletic accomplishments. Karen Crowe High School, Bryce Campbell, who finished 13th out of 140 participants at the Class 4A State Cross Country Meet. Como High School and Lafayette High School, by-district champions in volleyball playoffs. Lafayette High School, all-region cross-country team, Amber Broussard, Madison Lightfoot, Emily Landry, and Jacob Gogren. Louisiana Track and Field Coaches Association cross-country all-state team, Amber Broussard. Northside High School, the boys cross-country team qualified for and competed in the LHSAA State Cross-Country Meet. Marquel Smith Roy, Braylon Taylor, Jaden Davis, and Seneca Portlock all set personal records at their district meet prior to the state meet. Southside High School, Volleyball Division I semifinalist. Sydney Dawson, swimming, state champion in 50-meter freestyle and third place in 100-meter freestyle. All-star swim meet qualifiers were Sydney Dawson, Liliana Delgado, and Tyler Edmonds. In the all-state cross-country meet, J.C. Gray finished 9th place. All-state in academic football, Jake Held. All-academic in swim, Deb Guadam. David Thibodeau STEM Magnet Academy boys cross-country team were named the district champions and received 6th place overall at the state cross-country meet. Grace French, girls individual district champion in cross-country. I want to wish the Acadiana High School football team well as they head to Ponchatoula High School this Friday night for the semifinals of the LHSAA Football 5A State Playoffs. These young men and coaches and staff have worked hard to get here, and we are cheering for you. Lastly, on behalf of the Lafayette Parish School System, I would like to wish everyone a joyous and blessed holiday season. This concludes my comments, President Morrison.
Thank you, Superintendent Troxclair. Next on the agenda, we have litigation. Item 2.1, discussion or action concerning pending litigation in the matter of Maria Conjo, Lafayette Parish School Board, ETAL docket number 2016-5945K, 15th Judicial District Court, Parish of Lafayette, State of Louisiana. I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Madam President, I move that the board enter executive session, discussion concerning pending litigation in the matter of Maria Conejo versus Lafayette Parish School Board.
I have a motion by Mr. Centeni and a second by Mr. Angel. Do I have any public comment? Any board comment? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. It's Justin. I'd like to entertain a motion to get back into regular session.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we go back into regular session.
I have a motion by Mr. Lachele,
I'll second.
a second by Ms. Mason. Any public comment? Any comment from the board? Okay. Motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll call for the vote.
A for, none against.
Madam President, I move that the board approve the advice of counsel in the matter of pending litigation from Maria Conejo versus Lafayette Parish School Board et al., docket number 2016-5945-K, 15th Judicial District Court, Parish of Lafayette, State of Louisiana.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Centeni and a second by Mr. Lachele. Do I have any comments from the public? Any comments from the board? I'll call for the vote.
A for, none against.
Next, we'll move to information items. The first item is 3.1, academics, coordinated funding request for early childhood. Ms. Thibodeau?
Good evening. I'm Emmy Thibodeau, the Early Childhood Network Supervisor for Early Childhood. And Bulletin 140 requires that our lead agency for Lafayette Parish School System applies each year for our seats for the following school year. So the 2022-2023 coordinated funding request will go live on the LPSS website on Monday for public comment. This requires our seats for 4-year-olds for the LA4 program, as well as the non-public program for NSECD. And then additional for the 3rd year in a row, our birth to 3 seats will be live on this application as well, where we will request funding for birth to 3 children in child care center partnerships in the community. We're currently a recipient of both of these for the LA4, the NSECD program, and the birth to 3 grants. Public comment can be submitted to ecnetwork@lpssonline.com from December 6th through 10th next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thibodeau. Next, we have item 3.2, personnel changes, December 1, 2021. Mr. Mouton?
Good evening to Ms. Trosclair, the board. I have 4 new assistant principals to introduce this evening. The first is Ms. Maureen Bonvillain, and she is the new assistant principal of Green Tea Linden Elementary School. Ms. Bonvillain has 31 years of experience as an educator. She holds a bachelor's degree from Nicholls State University in elementary education and a Master's of Education in Educational Leadership from the American College of Education. She recently served as the K-8 Social Studies content coach for Lafayette Parish. Prior to serving as a content coach, she taught all content areas, and I'm going to mess this up, Lancashire, Lacache Middle School in Chauvin, Louisiana. She also taught at L.J. Alamo Fine Arts Magnet Academy as a social studies teacher. Ms. Bonvillain believes that her years of experience in education have prepared her to understand the needs of students. She looks forward to serving the Green Tea Linden community with pride and dedication. Ms. Maureen Bonvillain, new assistant principal at Green Tea Linden.
I'd like to thank Superintendent Trosclair and the board for the opportunity to join the amazing faculty and staff at Green Tea Linden Elementary as assistant principal. I'd like to thank God and my family and friends for all of their support and encouragement. I have been fortunate to have worked with so many great administrators, teachers, and staff over the past 30 years as a classroom teacher and as a social studies content coach. Thank you, Ms. Aloisio, Ms. Gardner, Mr. Mouton, and Ms. Morrow. This experience has prepared me for the role of assistant principal. To Ms. Crater and Ms. LaFleur, I am so grateful for the opportunity to help lead the Cool Cubs at GTL. Ms. Crater has created a culture of open communication and togetherness, and I know that together we will continue to grow our Cool Cubs emotionally, socially, and academically. Thank you.
Next up is Mr. Robert Gautreaux. He's the new assistant principal at the W.D. and Mary Baker Smith Career Center. Mr. Gautreaux has 19 years of experience as an educator. He holds a bachelor's degree in agriculture education from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette and a master's of education in educational leadership from the American College of Education. He has taught high school agri-science and welding at Como High School and Southside High School. He has been honored as the Como High School Teacher of the Year in 2016 and Cox Communications Teacher of the Year in 2016. During his career, Mr. Gautreaux has worked diligently with students, school, district, and state staff to promote career and technical education, and he looks forward to continuing his work at the Career Center. Mr. Robert Gautreaux, Assistant Principal at W.D. and Mary Baker Smith Career Center.
Thank you, Mr. Mouton. Superintendent Trosclair and board, thanks for the opportunity to serve in this position. Like Ms. Mouton said, I've had 19 years in this parish working in CTE, starting my 20th year here in a different position. And the thing about the Career Center that's a little different than any other school is that we get to work with students from every school in the parish. We get students from all of the high schools. So we are the Career Center, but we are also a part of every high school. And career and tech education is close to my heart. I've spent many years teaching it, working with students. I even own a business that relates to these things. So I have a lot of knowledge that I can spread and share with students. Dr. Bofi, the principal, and I make a great team, and I'm thankful that I've been put in this position where I can come in and make a difference. The Career Center is growing. It's changing for the better, and people are seeing that, and I know they are, and we're only going to make it much better as we move on from here. CTE is my heart. It's where I want to be, and there's no better place than the Career Center to express that and get those views out there. One little pitch while we're here. Dr. Bofi passed around some little brochures. That's a brochure for the Career Center. It lists all of our programs, and we're even adding programs for next year. As of right now, we think the Career Center is at the highest enrollment it's been in modern time, probably in the last 15, 20 years for sure. So we're growing, and we're going to make it a much better place, and love being there. And I thank y'all.
Next up is Miss Amy Mouton. She is the new assistant principal at Charles Burke Elementary School. Ms. Mouton has 23 years of experience as an educator. She holds a bachelor's degree in education and a master's degree in education from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. She has taught third grade at Broadmoor Elementary School, taught kindergarten, and served as a reading facilitator, and most recently as the instructional leader at Charles Burke Elementary School. Ms. Mouton looks forward to continuing to work with the Charles Burke Elementary School family as they promote the ideals of hard work plus a positive attitude leading to everyone's success. Ms. Amy Mouton, Assistant Principal, Charles Burke.
Good evening. Mrs. Trosclair, Mr. Touchette, Ms. LaFleur, academic supervisors, members of the board, and Mrs. Williams-Durand. I would like to thank each of you for affording me the opportunity of becoming the assistant principal at Charles Burke Elementary. I am deeply honored. I have been at Burke Elementary since it opened in 1999. I started as a teacher, then moved into the reading facilitator role, which turned into the instructional leader role. As instructional leader, I was able to assist students academically by providing them with interventions to help them to become stronger students, and work with teachers and PLCs with curriculum. Now in the role of assistant principal, I feel I'm able to assist Mrs. Williams-Durand with making Burke Elementary the best it can be. During my short time in this position, we have created initiatives to encourage students to come to school and to encourage good behavior. Again, I appreciate this opportunity to make a difference at Charles Burke Elementary and honored to work for this great district. Thank you.
Okay. And finally, we have Miss Amanda Sanders, who is the new assistant principal at S.J. Montgomery Elementary School. Ms. Sanders has 7 years of experience as an educator. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Education from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette and a Master's in Education in Educational Leadership from Louisiana State University in Shreveport. She taught kindergarten and third grade at S.J. Montgomery and Charles Burke Elementary Schools. Most recently, she served as the instructional leader of S.J. Montgomery Elementary School. Ms. Sanders looks forward to continuing to build a diverse learning community committed to producing lifelong learners, the leaders of tomorrow. And you can find them at S.J. Montgomery. Ms. Amanda Sanders, new assistant principal at S.J. Montgomery Elementary.
Good evening, and thank you to Superintendent Trosclair, Madam President, the board, and our district leaders and supervisors for the opportunity to work in this position as the assistant principal at S.J. Montgomery. I've learned a lot over these last few months, these short few months in this position, and how important it is to meet the social and emotional needs of our students to ensure that they do have the opportunity to learn and to succeed. And so together alongside Dr. LeBlanc, we are working to ensure that our students know that S.J. Montgomery is a safe place for them to come, for them to be themselves, to be those shining stars that we know that they are, and for them to be able to freely express themselves in that safe environment so they have the opportunity to learn. We are also working alongside with teachers in planning to help them when they're incorporating their social and emotional needs within the learning cycle. And so I'm looking forward to continuing this in this position as the assistant principal at S.J. Montgomery to help our kids become the greatest themselves that they can be. Thank you.
Congratulations to all. Thank you, Mr. Mouton. Next, we have item 3.3, monthly facilities update. Mr. Bordelon and Ms. Touchette.
Good evening, members of the board. Kyle Bordelon, Director of Planning and Facilities. In your board packet is the monthly facilities update for construction. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those at this time.
Mr. Lachele.
Mr. Bordelon, just to double check, it's showing the ROTC building 79% complete. How far past the December 27th completion date are we gonna go? Or it'll be done by then?
It'll be through by then. We don't anticipate going past that date. That 79% is something that the architect filled out. I failed to double check that on the pay apps, but we anticipate being finished by the end of the month.
So basically, I mean, ROTC could start moving in and utilize it for the second
after the first of the
semester.
Year.
Okay. How are we coming on the field house? I know the slab and everything's poured. I mean, are we're doing good getting materials? I know that's going to be the problem.
My understanding was the concrete blocks were delivered yesterday, I believe.
All right.
And roofing bar joists are scheduled for delivery sometime in February.
Okay. So we should be on time with that one.
Should be if there's no other delays in any other materials.
Well, that we can't control. That we can't. Thank you.
Ms. Angel?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Bordelon, what about the baseball field improvements, the bleachers, et cetera, at Karen Crowe High School? Can you give us an update on that?
Mr. Jeffers is handling that. Mr. Jeffers?
Mr. Angel, the slab has been poured and the bleachers are scheduled to be installed on December 6th.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sure. Mr. Lachele?
Before I forget, Mr. Bordelon, I was asked, where are we in the process of, and I mean, not to overstep anybody's boundaries here, I was called and asked when the track soccer building is now, I guess, completed at Acadiana. I think Como and Karen Crowe were supposed to get one also for the track equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when that'll be going out to bid?
No, sir, I don't have a date just yet, but I'll keep Ms. Trosclair, Mr. Touchette advised of that.
Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the building at Acadiana took, what, 10 or 11 weeks to come in? So they're probably looking at mid-spring, best case, right?
Best case, yeah.
Okay. I was just asked to ask, and I maybe should have got with Mr. Angel, have him ask, because one of them does involve
Mr.
Karen
Lachele,
Crowe.
we did meet today, and Coach Jeffers did bring that up as a priority. That was discussed today to get the contracts out for that.
Yeah, I think they're worried about the new track equipment that was bought, having a house for it, so that we don't, start ruining equipment. Appreciate it.
Ms. Hanson?
Kyle, can you give me an update on where we are with the Woodvale cafeteria expansion, when it's going to start?
We received the contracts back from the contractor signed yesterday, and those were brought up here to be signed by the superintendent and the board president. So within the next couple of weeks, we should be having a pre-construction meeting to get things kicked off.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, I have one more question. Constituent asked me, the Butler buildings that are still on LJ Alamo's campus, are those, what's the plan for those?
Contractor was scheduled to start demolition on 4 of those buildings today. Did not have a chance to follow up and see if he did get started, but 4 will be demolished so we can complete a retention area that was associated with the wing project. The remaining buildings will stay on site until further notice, until we get further along in some other construction projects to see if we need some of those surplus buildings.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Okay, seeing no other questions. Thank you, Mr. Bordelon. Next, we have item 3.4, list of bids approved to be advertised by the superintendent. Mr. Dugas.
It's just an information item.
Okay, moving on. Item 3.5, new Lafayette High School location survey. Mr. Brew.
Good evening, Board President, Board, Superintendent Trosclair, and public and staff. My name is Joseph Brew. I'm the Director of New Construction, and I'm here to talk about the survey that we've got for the Lafayette High School site. It is our desire to have input publicly, and we've got a 2-question survey, and the second question has a alternate part to it, and I'm involved with it in terms of the alternate part. If there's ever any need for questions to be answered, sites to be explored really quick, information to be collected, tours to be taken advantage of, yours truly is assigned to that. Really looking forward to it. it's a transparent process. I don't have a preference in the site that we select, but I congratulate everybody who's involved in this, and that idea I think is great. Any questions?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Centani?
I don't have a question for you, Mr. Brew. I just have a general comment. I want to just say where we're heading with this. It's my hope that we have an item on the board agenda in our January meeting determining the location of the new Lafayette High School. It's also my hope that the location ends up being at 3000 West Congress, but I also think it's very important that we solicit all feedback from the public to make sure we take everyone's opinion into account. The secondary part of this survey that Mr. Brew mentioned is if someone does say that they would like to rebuild Lafayette High elsewhere than the current site, we give them an opportunity to give us the address of a possibly suitable piece of property that they might suggest, including if a checkbox, I believe, if the person suggesting that alternate location is the property owner, so that we might do a little due diligence. Who knows? Maybe there's some awesome piece of land out there that we don't even know about that somebody's going to bring to our attention. I doubt it, but it's worth our time. It doesn't cost us anything to go down this path and make sure that we take all the precautions and gather all the information we need. So with that said, there is a survey on, I believe it's on the front page of the school system website as of this evening. Please, if you have an opinion about the location of Lafayette High School, go and tell us what your opinion is. And I know there are opinions about this.
Correct. And it will be up until December 17th, the questionnaire. Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brew. Next item is item 3.6, retiree return to work laws. Mr. Lachele?
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, I just put this on the agenda to maybe bring the public some public awareness. I know I've spoken to Dr. Chasson. I think he's having some workings with this way deeper than I am. I keep getting contacted by my principals and other principals and employees of, you retire with the Lafayette Parish school system, you're done. You can go to a private school, you can go to parochial school, you can go to charter school. You can supposedly double dip. You can draw your public school retirement and go teach elsewhere, but you cannot come back into the public school system, which up until probably over a decade or so ago, you were allowed to do. And my theory, people call it double dipping. Well, you retire and go get another job, you're double dipping no matter where you go. Is if a person puts in 30, 35 years in this system and wants to retire and collect their retirement and come back as a beginning teacher, you don't come back at your same salary, you come back as a first day hire, whatever a new teacher gets, and collect your retirement and a teacher salary, that's fine. Why not? You can do it in a private school, a parochial school, a charter school, but you can't come back and do it in a public school, and you used to be able to. And the legislature took that away. And we have LPAE here, we have Apple, we have LSBA, people who lobby for us, the public, call your representatives. Why can't a 30, 35-year, 20-year teacher retire, maybe take a year or two off, 6 months off, and come back? I don't understand why they can't. We have a shortage. Any Lafayette Parish school system employee should be able to retire and come back. You can go get a job anywhere else. I think what we're doing is we're letting our good people retire, which they need to do if that's what they want to do and collect their retirement. But then they're taking their talents to other schools and can't come back. Maybe they want to stay at the school they're at, or go and get another certification, and maybe they've been a math teacher for 20 years and they want to come back and teach SPED or something. They can't do that. And I think we need to put a little pressure on the legislature, because I believe these other schools are getting our talent at the expense of the Lafayette Parish school system and all public school systems. If these people want to come back, let them. Contact your state representatives. I mean, we go into session, they go into session
In March.
early next year. I'd like to see what representative has what it takes to put this out there and put a vote on it and see what happens. And I think we need to do as much as we can to bring it out in public and let people know that this can't happen anymore. If you want to retire and collect your retirement and come back, I have no problem with it. So this was just a little information item. Dr. Chasso, is there anything you'd like to say on it? I know we've had a small conversation on it, if you don't mind, Madam President.
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Chasson?
So really quickly, I've spoken with my Senator, Gerald Boudreaux, and Mr. Boudreaux is all for it. He actually is putting me in touch with Mr. Price, a former school board member as well, higher politician now who can help us in this direction. I think there's a lot more people that support this now than did before. And I would just like to state, it is my complete understanding that this is all based upon one person's individual vendetta against another person. And this is how this all came about, and we're the ones suffering, and we can't suffer any longer. So hopefully everyone supports it. I know Ms. Trosclair has, well, I don't want to say anything that would you like to say that you've spoken with some folks?
I've also, yes, spoken with Mr. Haney and others, LAE, anyone that I could speak to regarding the crisis that this has put right now on our public school systems. I've spoken to other superintendents, Michael Falk, also the executive director of Louisiana School Superintendents. Currently, we have shortages right now. We still have classrooms that aren't staffed with teachers. We're able to hire anyone to come in and be in front of our children with no training. And we're thankful that some folks are coming to do that. However, it's just putting a real strain when we can see veteran, experienced educators going to private sectors or going to charter schools, and yet we can't put them in front of our students. I also understand that at one time, some of the basis for the legislation at the time was that it was preventing new teachers from getting jobs. That's not the case anymore. UL will graduate 48 educators in December. We could hire all of them right now. That's how many vacancies that we still have. And Vermilion, St. Landry, Acadia, all of us are searching for qualified educators. So it is a crisis situation in the public school setting that our children are at a great disadvantage at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Troxclair. Any other comments? Okay, we'll move on to the next item. It's item 3.7, and it's information annual presentation by LSU Ag Center.
Good evening, Board President Morrison, Superintendent Trosclair, members of the board, administration, and guests. I'm Charles Hebert, County Agent, Parish Chair with the LSU Ag Center in Lafayette. And tonight we're going to share with you a highlighted report of the past year. Each of you should have a green folder at your location. On the left-hand side will be a copy of this report, as well as behind that you'll see a parish profile of our past year. On the right-hand side, you will find a 4-H mask that you keep as a souvenir and hope we don't have to use them again. And then you will find the Louisiana State report also of the State 4-H program on your left-hand side. But I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our annual report. The LSU Ag Center in Lafayette is a local presence of the LSU land-grant university system in the parish. We are part of the LSU system, which is a parish in all 64 offices in Louisiana. Our mission is to deliver research-based information to all the citizens in Lafayette in the areas of agriculture. And with us tonight, we have Stan Dutil, works with agriculture in our office, along with Family and Consumer Science Agent Tamika Jones. And then in the area of 4-H, Paul Bagrazone, Ms. Nicole's not here, and myself. So going through, we're funded through a three-way partnership, which is federal government, which is USDA. Then you go to state government, which is the state grant state land-grant university systems, and we both work with both LSU and Southern University Ag Centers, and then the local government, which does consist of both the Lafayette Parish School System and the Lafayette Consolidated Government. We are located at 1010 Lafayette Street. Downtown is where we are housed in the parish government building, along with the tax assessor and the register of voters. The land-grant university system is that institution that is part of Congress that was passed back in the early 1900s. So the land-grant university system and the cooperative extension service has been around for many, many years now. But our program efforts are continuing through some virtual efforts, as many of you are aware, to engage our clientele. We've come a long way over the past 18 months from totally virtual. Now we're working back with some clientele. We're back in some of the private schools. We're hoping at some point in the future we're back in the public school system, but we'll work through administration when that is safe for all of us to do so. But looking forward to being able to interact with in-person clientele more than we have been over the past 18 months. In the area of agriculture and natural resource on the slide, these are many of the programs that are available to farmers, landowners, gardeners, plant enthusiasts, and other citizens, developing educational programs that pertain to agriculture. Then we do have our Master Gardener program that we have over 350 Master Gardeners that are involved in delivering research-based material to clientele in our community through the various avenues that are listed on our slide. They volunteer over 5,000 hours per year giving back. They're very involved in our school garden program. That's a big part of our program that is implemented through many of our school systems. Then we go into family and consumer sciences. Our family and consumer science agents do work with families dealing with home, health, food, and family. They deliver programs that enable individual families and seniors to develop the capacity of strengthening families and building community support. And then the area of 4-H. We are a non-formal co-curricular educational program that delivers programs to students in 4th through 12th grade through private, parochial, homeschool, and the public school system. Our traditional programs are based on leadership development and service. Our programs this year, this current year, are all based on food science experiments. This past year, we had over 700 youth involved in our traditional program. We are almost at 1,000 this year that have enrolled, so we are increasing from last year. We are excited, but hopefully over the next year that will increase more. And then we've worked with over 800 youth through school enrichment. That would include our school garden program. Some of our schools have embryology, service learning, and wetlands. This past year, our shooting sports program from Louisiana won the sweepstakes award at National in Nebraska. So that is the second time in 21 years that Louisiana came home with the sweepstakes awards. We do have many of our 4-H members, over 100, that are involved in the shooting sports program here in Lafayette. So that program continues to grow. And then we do have school gardens that are very involved, and even though we are not in the schools or in person in the schools, we are still delivering plants to schools. We are having Zoom meetings with teachers and guiding them through the planning experience with their young people of their classrooms, teaching lessons on gardening and health and nutrition through that program. We currently have 9 schools that are involved in the program this year. I want to recognize our Hall of Fame members from this past year, and they are Dr. Aguilar. Congratulations again for all of his work through his years both as superintendent in St. Mary and Lafayette, and his continued support even beyond that. But he's always been a big supporter of our school garden program and the 4-H program while he was superintendent, and even before that when he was teaching at many of those schools. But he'll be recognized, and we'll invite y'all to the official ceremony, which will be part of the Parish Livestock Show in January, and that will be the local recognition, along with Mr. Russell Garina, which was a deceased county agent that's been retired since 1994. So we had 2 of the 12 members that were recognized for this past year. And just want to conclude with the mission of the Ag Center. Our mission is to help the people in our community improve their lives through an educational process using research-based knowledge focused on issues in their communities. So again, I want to thank y'all, the board, the administration, for your continued support. We look forward to continuing our relationship, working with y'all. If you have any questions, our contact information is in the packet that's provided, so please feel free to reach out and contact us. But thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. Mrs. Centani?
Madam President, I'd just like to congratulate Dr. Aguilar on the recognition. I know your years in the science classroom certainly contributed to that as well, probably much more than being in the office down the hall, right? No, Mr. Hebert, thank you for coming. Always enjoy your updates. What a wonderful program you run, and thank you for being involved with us.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations, Dr. Aguilar. Okay, at this time, we're going to move to the consent agenda. I'll read each item. Board members, if you'd like to pull an item, do so. All items not pulled will be voted in globo. So, item 4.1, discussion and or action concerning staffing changes in the early childhood department. 4.2, discussion and or action concerning salary schedule booklet revision process for granting years of experience credit. 4.3, discussion or action concerning a revision of the supplemental pay rates section of the 2021-2022 salary schedule for teacher substitute supplemental pay. Item 4.4, discussion or action concerning the revision to the supplemental pay rates section of the 2021-2022 salary schedule for paraeducator substitute supplemental pay. 4.5, discussion and or action concerning policy file GBA contracts and compensation. 4.6, discussion and or action concerning an RFQ for CMAR services for Truman Early Childhood Center replacement. 4.7, discussion or action concerning award of bid for Burke Elementary roof replacement. 4.8, discussion or action concerning award of quote for Karen Crow Middle kitchen HVAC. 4.9, discussion or action concerning award of quotes for Myrtle Place Elementary kitchen HVAC. 4.10, discussion or action concerning award of quote for Como High kitchen HVAC. Discussion or action concerning award of quote for Drexel Elementary kitchen HVAC. 4.12, discussion or action concerning award of quotes for Southside High emergency lighting batteries replacement. 4.13, discussion or action concerning rejection of quotes for Karen Crow High kitchen HVAC. 4.14, discussion or action concerning rejection of quotes for Acadiana High kitchen HVAC. 4.15, discussion or action concerning budget revision to self-funded construction fund for Karen Crow High kitchen HVAC. 4.16, discussion or action concerning budget revision to self-funded construction fund for Acadiana High kitchen HVAC. 4.17, discussion or action concerning the sales tax collection report for October 2021. 4.18, discussion or action concerning budget to actual reports for November 2021. 4.19, discussion or action concerning the grant fund summary for November 2021. 4.20, discussion or action concerning the 2021-2022 proposed projects for fundraising matching programs. 4.21, discussion or action concerning authorization to purchase property located at the corner of University Avenue and Willow Street.
Pull that, please.
4.22, discussion and or action concerning requests for qualifications RFQ for construction manager at risk, CMAR, of the new replacement of Prairie Elementary. 4.23, discussion or action concerning requests for qualifications RFQ for a construction manager at risk, CMAR, of the new replacement of Karen Crow Heights Elementary. 4.24, discussion or action concerning ratification of executed cooperative endeavor agreement and resolution relative to construction of shelters at Lafayette Transit System Bus Stop. 4.25, discussion or action concerning the minutes of November 3rd and October 6th. 4.26, discussion or action concerning online auction of surplus equipment and supplies. 4.27, discussion or action concerning award of bid and budget revisions for district office buildings renovations. 4.28, discussion and or action concerning the committed school site renovations, replacements, Prairie, Karen Crow Heights, Lafayette High, line item in the self-funded construction fund. 4.29, approval of all action consent items.
Madam President, I move that the board approve all items not pulled.
Okay, I have
Second.
a motion by Mr. Centeni and a second by Mr. Lachele. Do I have any comments from the public on all items not pulled? Do I have any comments from the board on all items not pulled? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Eight for, none against.
Motion carries. Mr. Angel?
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. Thank you. I just want to make a quick comment. I want to thank Mr. Mouton. Sir, I want to know that I appreciate very much on your introduction of the new assistant principals. Those of the new hirees who came from the great university here in Lafayette. You mentioned the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I appreciate that. A lot of people leave off our great city, Lafayette, and there's two University of Louisianas. There's the University of Louisiana in Monroe, and there's the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And I'm very proud, sir, that you used Lafayette. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. Okay, we have one item that was not pulled. That's item 4.21. Discussion or action concerning authorization to purchase property located at the corner of University Avenue and Willow Street, and it was pulled by Mr. Centeni.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Broussard? Any comments? Any comments from the public? Any comments from the board?
Make the motion.
So we have a motion by Dr. Shasta, and who seconded the motion? Mr. Angel seconded the motion. And we had public comment. There's no public comment. Now we're on board comment.
Ms. Morrison, let me go ahead and make the entire motion.
Yes.
Motion to approve my apologies. I'll read the whole thing. Motion to approve that the board authorizes the superintendent and board president to negotiate and enter into an agreement to purchase and sell approximately 10.5661 acres of vacant land, including a potential donation of 1.334 acres of the 10.5661 acres of vacant land designated as a floodway, located at the corner of University Avenue and Willow Street. We also authorize the superintendent and board president to execute the acts of sales for the purchase of such property once they confirm that conditions set forth in the agreements to purchase and sell vacant land are met and due diligence results are satisfactory, and approves a budget revision moving $2,315,000 from committed for school sites renovations, construction, and land building acquisitions in the self-funded construction fund to Willow/University pre-K account for the land purchase and related costs. Does that need a second again?
So we have a motion by Dr. Shasta and second by Mr. Angel. Do we have any public comment? Any board comments? Mr. Broussard?
Yes. This is a golden opportunity to enhance our educational system. Truman Early Child Care has been a jewel, and it has been somewhat of a rose bush in the forest. And I think moving into this new location would do educational system so much justice in the future. If the principal there could chart the success of the students that leave from there, you would find her success rating would be over 100. They do a fine job there. Through the last 2 or 3 weeks, we have engaged the principal, some teachers, and some public information. They're so excited about the new move that we're going to be making on University in Willow. The excitement is growing. This is the last piece of the puzzle. I think $2.3 million is an investment for us putting to that, but we are spending $2.3 million for a $26 million project. And, you know, I think it's a good investment. And I would hope that every board member would support that, because it is a positive move. We could build, someone would actually could build a where's that, we could, but it's hidden. Very few people know that Truman even exists. So we need to grow our educational system. We need not be stingy with the dollars that it takes to grow what's needed. We want to be an A district, but we want to, I don't know, belittle some of the value that's in our hands. So I'm asking for the support of every board member to make this new start that we're going to have with Truman, that school that's 60, 70 years old, and it has outlived its usefulness from where it's at. It was great back in the day when I was there, but now we need to grow. We need to go. The only way we can go if we grow, and it would be an asset on that corner. It would grow the north side of Lafayette, which has been stymied for quite some years. And putting it on that corner would make everything better. So I'm asking for the support, of every board member to make this unanimous to move forward, because we're about education. And that should be our first priority, education. If we don't start correct, we will not end correct. And we'll have to start with early child care. Thank you.
Mr. Angel?
Thank you, Madam President. I want to speak from experience concerning the school that we're under discussion. One of my granddaughters, who's 18 years old now, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, went to that school, and I would bring her. Back then, my son was working, and it was really. I think somebody said, did you say a rose in the forest? We call it sometimes a diamond in the rough. I really think that school is a diamond in the rough. It's in a tough part of town, but I must say that the janitors, the principal, the staff, and everybody at that school, and I'm talking about 14 to 15 years ago, you could tell that they took pride in that school. They took pride in the looks of the school. They took pride in the cleanliness of the school and the surrounding area. They did everything they could. Now, I had, last year, a great-grandchild that attended that school, and it's the same thing. The school was impeccable. It was clean. Everybody's willing to help. Everybody wants to pitch in. And I can tell you from personal experience that those students who go to that school and complete that curriculum go to school with a huge advantage. They have an advantage relative to those students of ours who don't attend any kind of pre-kindergarten or any other kind of school before they get to kindergarten, or in some cases, they go to first grade without even going to kindergarten. So I'm 100% for it, Mr. Broussard and the rest of my fellow members, and I think it's great for our students. And one of the reasons that I believe in it is that I think more of our students would attend that school if we move it to where you're talking about putting it on University Avenue. And this comes from a guy who lives north of the north side. Thank you.
Mrs. Santani?
Let me start off by saying I agree with 99% of what Mr. Broussard and Mr. Angel said. That school is wonderful. I couldn't have been more proud to support the project to rebuild it. I know it's an old campus. It's a campus that serves our youngest students. And one of the things that I've been most proud of during my time on the Lafayette Parish School Board is the fact that we don't get any state money for pre-K students. We fund all of our pre-K programs with our parents. In a lot of cases, parents do have to pay us a tuition every month, but we fund some of it and the parents fund the rest. We don't get any state money, yet we continue to work hard to offer this to our early childhood students. The only quibble I have, and boy, it's a small quibble, but it's a $2.3 million quibble. And I agree wholeheartedly, if we moved the campus, we would increase its chances of success. I've never heard a bad word spoken about the education that goes on in those halls, and people who attend that school are proud to have sent their children there and feel their children got a head start on the rest of their education. The only problem I have is that I'm not convinced. It's not that I think it's wrong, it's just that I'm not convinced that $2.3 million for 10.5 acres on the corner of Willow and University is the best course of action. I'm sure it's a great course of action. It's not bad. But I'm not convinced that it's the best course of action. You know, we're paying pretty close to $200,000 an acre is basically what my back of the napkin math comes out to. Right down Willow Street, the Lafayette Parish government just bought 17 acres for $750,000. And that's a demonstration of the varying price points that you get with large pieces of land, depending on what street corner they're on, what intersection they're at, what street they're on. And I would just like to know, is this the best? I'm not convinced that this is the best. It might be the best. I'm perfectly willing to admit if it is. But I'm not convinced just yet. And so that is the only disagreement I have. I couldn't be happier about the overall project and making sure that those children have a great school to go to. Thank you, Ms. Morrison.
Mr. Broussard?
Others have seen the value that's on a university that is taking place. If we wait 5 to 10 years, I'm pretty sure we would triple. If we had purchased that 5 or 6 years in past, we would have gotten it for $1 million. So we need to be part of the growth. We need this down the street. It's one of the best schools in the parish of Lafayette. Is the most balanced school in the parish of Lafayette, just down the street, with J. Wallace James, who earned all kind of accolades for their accomplishment. So, you know, it works hand in hand. It would be an asset to what we've got down the street and to everything else. So money should not be an object when we try to perfect what we're doing in education. Should not be an object. You know, it has not been an object so far. It should not be an object now.
Mr. Lachele?
Mr. Broussard, 7 years ago when I campaigned, one of the items was early childhood development. You've got my vote.
Any additional board comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's it for me too. This is my last bill, my last meeting.
While we waiting, Madam President. What? No, I was just gonna tell everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, because this is our final meeting and we gotta take our beautiful picture here in a second, but I just want to tell everybody to have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Make it safe.
7 for, 1 against.
Motion carries. This is the last agenda item. And again, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. This is my last board meeting presiding as president. It's been great. Thanks to my board members for the vote of confidence, our superintendent, executive staff. Thank you so much. And again, Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Have a safe and wonderful holiday season. Thank you very much. Board members, don't leave. We're taking a picture.
I'm so happy to get out of here early. Yes.